The Hindus consider the Ashoka tree as a sacred tree. Second, Lord Buddha was born under the Ashoka tree in Lumbini. Next, fill in the blanks. First one, Lord Shiva is pleased by bay leaf offerings. Second, the bamboo tree is associated with Lord Krishna. Next, fill in the blanks. First one, the coconut tree presents Lord Shiva. Second, bananas are offered to Lord Vishnu. Third, the tulsi plant is loved by Lord Vishnu. Fourth, the coconut tree is known as Kalpavriksha. Fifth, the three black marks on the coconut shell represent Lord Shiva's eyes. Now the question answers. First one, what did the king wish for? The king wished to build the most beautiful palace for himself. Second question, what did the king decide? The king decided that the entire palace was to be supported by one column which was to be made from the tallest tree in the kingdom. Next MCQ. First one, the palace was to be supported by option number A, one column only. Second, the column was to be made from the tallest tree in the kingdom. It's option number D. Now, next question answers. First one, name the trees found in the Himalayas. Spruce, pine, oak, and deodar are found in the Himalayas. Second one, what did the king order his prime minister? The king ordered his prime minister to ask his men to bring the largest deodar without delay. Now, the MCQs. First one, the deodars were the dash trees. It's option number B, tallest and the strongest. Second one, deodar means it's option number A, tree of God. Now the question answer. First one, why did the king's daughter protest? The king's daughter protested because the deodar is a sacred tree and it was used only for building temples. Now the MCQs. First one, the king wanted his palace to be as magnificent as any temple. It's option number C. Second, the deodar was used only for building temples. It's option number D. Third, the man returned because they could never carry the deodars. It's option number B. Now the question answer. First one, what did the king tell his son? The king told his son to take his horsemen and bring him one of the deodar trees. Now the MCQ, the prince used horses and oxen but did not succeed. It's option number A. Now the question answers. First one, what did the king ask to try? The king asked to try elephants. Second, why did the elephants return to the valley? The elephants returned to the valley because the hills were too steep and the paths were too narrow. Third question, what did the king finally ask his men? The king finally asked his men to find a tree in one of his parks within 7 days. Now the MCQs. At last, the king asked to try elephants. It's option number C. Second, the hills were too steep for the elephants. It's option number A. Third, the paths were too narrow for the elephants. It's option number B. Fourth one, the king asked his men to find a tree within 7 days. It's option number D. Now the question answers. First one, why was the deodar worshipped? The deodar was worshipped because a tree goddess lived in it and she gave the tree its great strength, size, and beauty. Now the MCQs. The goddess gave the tree its great strength, size, and beauty. It's option number D. Now the question answer. How did the people show their respects to the deodar tree? The people showed their respects to the deodar tree with garlands, lamps, and music. MCQ. The deodar tree was to be cut within 7 days. It's option number A. Second, the people wanted to warn the goddess that it's option number B. She must leave her abode. Now the question answer. What did the people do? The people lit lamps and placed around the tree, hung garlands on the branches and danced and sang. Second question. Why did the men feel that the goddess understood? The men felt that the goddess understood because all her leaves began to whisper and her topmost branches bowed. Now MCQ. The people put lamps around the tree. It's option number C. Second, the people hung garlands on the branches. It's option number B. Now the question answers. First one, why did the goddess go to the king? The goddess went to the king to beg of him to change his mind to cut down the tree. Second, why did the king refuse to change his mind? The king refused to change his mind because that was the only tree which was strong enough to support his palace. Now the MCQ. A glorious figure appeared before the king. It's option number C. Second, the goddess voice was like the rustle of autumn leaves. It's option number D. Now the question answer. How is the tree useful to men, women and children? Men rest against the tree's trunk. Women returning from the field sit in its cool shade and children play under the tree. Second, how is the tree useful to birds and wild animals? Birds build their nest in the tree and wild animals rub themselves against it. Third one, how does the earth bless the tree? The earth blesses the tree by sending up new plants and herbs under its protective arms. Now, MCQ, nothing but good has gone from the goddess to the people. It's option number A. Second, the tree sends the loveliest shade on the grass. It's option number C. Third, the tree binds the earth with its strong roots. It's option number B. Now the question answers. First one, what did the tree goddess request the king? The tree goddess requested the king that she be felled in three parts. Second, what should be cut first? The tree's head with its crown of waving greenery should be cut first. Third, what should be cut last? The tree's base, which bears the heaviest and the knottiest limbs, should be cut last. Now, MCQ. I cannot spare you. Who says these words? It's option number B, king. Now, again, who said to whom? First one, dozens of young deodar trees have sprung from me and have grown up around me. Tree goddess said to the king. Second, the reason is plain. Again, tree goddess said to the king. Now, the second question, why did the king find the request strange? The king found the request strange because he had never heard of someone who wanted to suffer the death stroke thrice. Third question, what would happen if the tree was cut at one stroke? If the tree was cut at one stroke, all the young deodars growing around it would be crushed under its weight. Now the MCQ, the king found the request strange. It's option number B. Second, the tree goddess faded from his vision means the tree goddess disappeared. It's option number A. Third, if the tree is cut in three parts, some of the young deodars may escape. It's option number C. Now, who said to whom? First, within the deodar tree lives a spirit nobler than my own. The king says to his children, ministers, and foresters. Second question, did the king change his mind? How can you say so? Yes, the king changed his mind because he decided to build the column of his new palace of stone and not of wood. Now the MCQ. First one, the column for the new palace would be built of stone. It's option number B. Second, the king called the tree goddess a spirit nobler than his own. It's option number A. Now, the degrees of comparison, that is positive, comparative and superlative degree, are given in this